libraries, drinking water systems, sewage systems, public transit that create good paying jobs that cannot be exported to fascist and communist dictators abroad who know how to put workers in their place, don't they? Now, every politician I've ever known for the major parties, except maybe Dennis Kucinich, every politician starts flattering the people. Oh, how they flatter the people, because that's what gives the people weak knees. You know, you flatter people, and that helps you fool people, so they vote for politicians who go to Washington and then betray them. And then you flummox people. Well, we have got to start getting tough with each other. When you see young people who now have the vote at 18, and we think they should have the vote at 16, when it's legal for them to vote and to drive a car, and it's good to give them a maturing experience so they reduce some of their text messaging and gossiping and so on. You consider how hard we worked for bringing that vote down to 18. I have to say to you, I've been very disappointed by the percent of 18 to 24-year-olds who turn out to vote. And it's not just voting, it's breaking your routine, it's taking more time off from your civic and political responsibilities as you see them. And otherwise, you know what happens? You become sophisticatedly cynical. Ah, boy, that really makes you feel good. Politics, just a bunch of corrupt people. Want to have anything to do with it. Doesn't mean anything to me. Well, when young people come up to me and they say, you know, we're just not turned on to politics. And I say, read the grim lesson of history here and abroad. When people collectively do not turn on to politics, politics will turn on them in a very disagreeable manner. And because young people have not turned on to politics, not just voting, organizing, supporting those who they believe in, running for local office when they're of age, because they haven't done that. Look what they're facing, even when they get out of university or college, never mind out of high school. How are they going to get affordable houses? How are they going to get affordable health insurance? How are they going to make sure that even their white-collar jobs that they're skilled for, accounting, architecture, engineering, even media jobs, will be outsourced to people in China and India who know how to repress their workers, oligarchs, dictators. These young people now face a future where they're going to be in debt for years on their student loans, and where they're going to wonder what is happening to this country that they were told is a land of the free, home of the brave. They're going to wonder how many times they stood up in class and pledged allegiance to the flag, whose last words were, quote, with liberty and justice for all. Not for some, not for many, for all. If you only knew the power you have at this young age, if you knew the energy that no one later in age can match, if you only realized how you ask those tough, impertinent questions that shake politicians to their boots. Not quite as tough as 10-year-olds, but you'll do. If you knew how quickly in an internet age you can connect with one another and build a political movement that will let you look at your grandchildren at age 10 in the eye and be proud to tell them how you rebuilt and you restored and you raised the United States of America and its status in the world to unparalleled heights of justice and happiness. How can anything be more gratifying? Well, For that, you're going to have to spend less time looking at screens, chuck the iPod once in a while, stop listening to non-stop music, which is blowing apart your mind, and get serious. Get serious, because it's serious what's happening to you, and what's going to happen to you in the future. It's serious what this country, under a criminal recidivist regime of George Bush and Dick Cheney, is doing to so many millions of people in the world outside our boundaries. It's serious what these corporate technologies that haven't been tested or have been tested and have been found wanting are doing to the health, safety of human beings, flora, fauna, the ecology. You're in the first period in world history where our world can be destroyed inadvertently, not just by nuclear weapons, not just by chemical, biological warfare, just by the indifference of many to the cruel, predatory activities of the few, by the feeling of the many that they just are not up to it. They have better things to do in their private lives, that they really can't fight ExxonMobil or City Hall or Congress. Well, sometimes it helps to compare what's happened in our country with other countries, say in the Western world, because it is very motivating, because it showers us with shame, because we've grown up being told our country's number one in every conceivable category. And now we know it's number 15 in wages, it's number 1 in incarceration in prisons per capita. It's the only country in the Western world that is so careless and not taking care of its children. So let me give you a very, very short glimpse of history. Many of you have read about Eugene Debs, arguably the greatest labor leader in our country's history. In the late 19th and 20th century, and at the end of his career, a reporter came up to him, this is about 1920 or so. By the way, he ran for president 5 times, so I have a unique affinity with Eugene Debs. They said, Mr. Debs, what is your greatest regret? And he said, in his deliberate way, my greatest regret? I'll tell you what my greatest regret is. My greatest regret is that under our Constitution, the American people can have almost anything they want. But it just seems like they don't want much of anything at all. Fast forward, 1945, end of World War II. United States, the mightiest political, technological, economic power in the world. There was no number 2. Over in Western Europe, they were devastated. Rome, Berlin, Paris, Cologne, London, the countryside had disintegrated, disease, death, unexploded landmines everywhere. The economy at a standstill. Now watch what happened. People of Western Europe, through their trade unions, their social democratic parties, their cooperatives, their multi-party system, their instant runoff voting, their proportional representation, demanded and received the following by law for all their people. They demanded universal health care and got it. They demanded a living wage and got it. They demanded decent pensions and got it. They demanded 4 weeks paid vacation. It's now up to 5 in France and 8 in Sweden, and they got it. They demanded university-free tuition, and they got it. They demanded laws that facilitated workers banding together for collective bargaining, and they got it. They demanded paid maternity leave. They demanded paid family sick leave, and they got it. They demanded decent daycare, and they got it. They demanded decent public transit, and they got it. And we do not have any of this 63 years later by law for all the American people in 2008.